Good afternoon, family. Nice to see everybody this afternoon. I invite you to, if it feels comfortable for you to stand and sing with me, I'd love to have you join me. Yes. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, yeah, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here. Amen. Thank you so much. Please be seated.
Woo! That's your part. Good afternoon to everybody watching online and YouTube as well. We're grateful, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're tuning in from, we're glad that you're in this space. It is a Super Sunday because you are here and we are here together. My name is David Alexander. I'm the spiritual director here at SLCA. My pronouns are he and his, and I welcome you into this wonderful space this day. We are in this wonderful series this month, Radically Interconnected. Radically Interconnected. I said last week, it's not my fault they used the word radical. That was on this cover of Science Mind magazine, but I'm glad they did because I'm having fun with it. And today, we're going to hear from our Associate Minister, Reverend Jean Bell, giving the second part of this series. So grateful for that. If you're new or checking this out for the first time, including online, if you're finding this for the first time, please visit our website, slca.com. Click on the I'm New Here button, and that'll give you all kinds of information about our community. And if you're in the room and you're new, just make yourself known to us after the service, and we'll get you connected with some information about our community. We're going to do our affirmation, and then I think I'm also going to do the announcements because we're all just chipping in as one family today. Amen? Our affirmation for this month's series is this. Today, I recognize my radical interconnection with all of life. My liberation is tied to the liberation of all beings. I am here to disrupt illusions of separation and be a living embodiment of unity and truth. I listen deeply, act boldly, love fearlessly, knowing that the power of the One moves through me, as me, and in me. Let's take a breath. And we're going to say that together one more time as one voice and allow it to just deeply resonate with our being. So, together. Today, I recognize my radical interconnection with all of life. My liberation is tied to the liberation of all beings. I am here to disrupt illusions of separation and be a living embodiment of unity, truth, and love. I listen deeply, act boldly, and love fearlessly, knowing that the power of the One moves through me, as me, and in me. And so it is. And so we are. And today's announcements, I'm not going to introduce myself again. Oh, wow, you guys changed the photo and everything. You guys work fast. It's impressive. I was expecting to look like somebody else there for a minute. So welcome again. We have many ways for you to connect, grow, serve, and give. Please visit our website or check out the QR code on your monitor for all of the opportunities. Today's announcements are as follows. We have visioning. Visioning is vital to the sustainability of SLCA. Please join SLCA practitioner Nana today during the 5 o'clock hour as she leads our community in a visioning practice. This takes place every second Sunday, and we would love to have you join us today. Rev Jean is excited to announce a new opportunity for her second Sunday during the 5 o'clock hour. Join Reverend Jean Bell today after the service and discover the basic ideas of the science of mind. This is a perfect refresher class for members and is especially designed to help newcomers understand the basic principles of the science of mind and spirit philosophy. You will learn how to use these principles and enhance your personal well-being and live a more freeing and fulfilling life. Amen. Look forward to that. And register today as she's walking in, Reverend Susan Zoller, for the Powering Your Decision. This is a life-changing course that guides students on a journey of self-discovery to unlock their untapped potential and activate better results with confidence and clarity in all aspects of life. This class begins February 12th, so register today at newthoughtaeducation.com or by talking to one of our staff after the service. SLCA practitioner Tony Jenkins is ready to answer any questions that you have. Where's Tony? There he is. Any questions that you have about spirituality next Sunday during the 5 o'clock hour. Perhaps you've been curious about certain spiritual practices, but have had few opportunities to discuss with like-minded people. Every third Sunday, Tony leads a discussion group exploring topics that may be hard to talk about with your friends or family. This is one of our most popular workshops, so if you haven't joined yet, please check it out. Then, February 23rd, you could join me, David Alexander, during the 5 o'clock hour as we dive into the basic principles of our philosophy under the title, What We Believe. I will be guiding us into a deeper look into each principle and how they pertain to our everyday life. This workshop takes place every fourth Sunday. Next week is the first, and we'll continue on for several months exploring each of the principles in the statement, What We Believe, for Centers for Spiritual Living. So that starts February 23rd. You're cordially invited to the 97th Annual Academy Awards on March 2nd. The great news is that you don't have to travel far to attend. Our very own CJ the DJ will once again host this spectacular event happening in the social hall. Purchase your tickets today on Breeze or by talking to one of our staff after the service and experience the red carpet treatment. Take a picture at our photo booth and enjoy hors d'oeuvres and find out who will take home the Oscar this year. All right, that's going to be an exciting event. That's 6 to 10 p.m. on Sunday, March 2nd. That's going to be a great evening together. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to visiting with you after the service in the social hall for food and fellowship. And remember, you belong.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
There is nothing to disrupt the flow if we allow our mind to follow the breath. Right here, right now, we are in the mind of the one power, the one everlasting, omniscient power that gives life to all. I call it God. It is right here in this space, in the body temple of each person present, whether they are seated in this sanctuary or somewhere else. There is no time or space in the mind of God. And so I accept that flow. I accept the perfection of all that is. And I allow myself to be in perfect peace, knowing that wherever there is the intention of love, that love exists. All that I need is provided. The I is not just the one that speaks before you now. The I is the collective. All of us are the perfection of God's creation. And that means that we are love, we are peace, we are joy, we are harmony, we are strength, we are patience and forgiveness, and we are abundant prosperity. There is nothing lacking, and anything that seems to be out of order, anything that appears to be chaotic, confusing, divisive, are the illusions that have no power over me. Whenever I breathe, I recognize that the one power is what sustains me, and that there is nothing on this earth, seen or unseen, greater than that one which gives me my breath. And so I can stand here and affirm that our time that we spend here today is divine. I can affirm that everything we need to hear is spoken, taught, and felt. And I can affirm that we are perfect and complete in this moment now and always. And knowing that this is so, this service is blessed beyond measure. And I am here not as an observer. I am here as a participant. I bring forth all that I have in my consciousness and with my full love for the message of this place and for the speakers that offer the message. And I let it all encompass not just me, but knowing that when I leave, it carries forth so that my being enlightens those that I interact with. So I give thanks. I am grateful. And I release my word knowing that what has been spoken is the truth, and it cannot return unto me void. I let it be, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
Beautiful prayer. Thank you, Baji. All right, now it's our time for our tithes and offerings and our opportunity to be in circulation this day. We have all the forms that we take here on the screen for you. You can scan the QR code. You can text any dollar amount to 404-800-9467 or visit our website, or drop cash in or check in the baskets as they come by in just a moment. And we're talking to everybody who's joining us online as well. If you would be so kind as to take a moment and decide what form your circulation is taking this day. What I know is that in this season that we are in, that where places that teach what we teach and do what we do are more important than ever. This idea that we know that where our attention goes, consciousness grows, and we want to put our attention on things that are affirmative and loving and inclusive and all of that. Then in an atmosphere where, it's not my day to preach, but I feel something right here. In an atmosphere where they're trying to cancel diversity and equity and inclusion, in an atmosphere where they're trying to tell us that trans lives don't matter, in an atmosphere where they're trying to other us and divide us and conquer us in all kinds of negative, energetic ways, where our attention goes, consciousness grows, and we get to affirm today love and peace and oneness and inclusion and diversity and all of those things. And we do so with our money as well as with our energy and our conscious attention. So let's affirm today places like Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta that are doing good things and affirming these principles in the world because it's needed. And I know that this message is reaching out and reaching new people. So whatever form your gift takes this day, let us hold it in our hearts, including those who have set up automatic tithing, automatic giving, monthly contribution, or a special gift today, whatever form it is. We're truly grateful and thankful for it as we put it into circulation and we bless it with these words. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And so we are. Thank you very much.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So we're going to bless these offerings. Please stretch out your hands and know this truth with me, that everyone that gives to this center is truly not only a blessing, but a divine spark of God. And I know that these blessings are multiplied, and they go forth to bring a message of love, of unity, of oneness to everyone that enters our threshold, and to all who are viewing far and wide. We are blessed, and so it is.
When you're down and troubled, and you need some love and care, nothing, oh, nothing going right. Ooh, close your eyes, think of me. Soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. Come on, you just call out my name. Look around the room and say, I'm so glad you're here. No, wherever I am, I come running, yes I will. See you again, you're not alone. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You got a friend. If the skies above you dark close out of clouds, and that old north wind begins blow, keep your head together. Call my name out loud. Soon you'll see me knocking on your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, 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 yeah, to see you again. Ooh, winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. Oh, ain't it good to know we've got friends? People can be so cold. They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you. Take your soul if you let them, oh yeah. Don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running. See you again. winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean in on. Call me, call me, call me. Just look around the room and say, I'm so glad you're here. Call me, call, so glad you're here. Call me, call me. Yeah, we got each other now. Thank you.
We're going to test this and see. All right, take me on. Oh, you good? Okay. Testing, 1, 2. Hello, SLCA. How are you? I'm Reverend Jean Bell. My pronouns are they, she, and her, because I get to decide who my pronouns are. All right? And welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I am so excited to give this talk today. I didn't get a chance to give a talk in January because of our snow. Can you believe it? I'm going to see if I can do the clicker and the microphone and scroll. I am multitasking today. Last week, Reverend David gave a wonderful talk on radically interconnected. So thank you, Reverend David. We needed that. We needed to hear that, and we need to know that we are interconnected, that all of life is interconnected. We are never separated from one another, no matter what. And I am grateful for that, because I could look out amongst all of you, and no matter what lampshade you're wearing, I know that Spirit is the guiding force of all. You know, so many things has happened. Oh, I love you, Penelope. So many things has happened since our last talk. There we go, sorry. Thank you. Since our last talk in December, so many things. Would you not agree? Yes. And I'm sure some of our heads are spinning. But that's okay. We're going to talk a little bit about that a little later. But for now, I want to talk about Black History Month. Okay? And I want to tell you a story of an experience I had 30 years ago. When I was a sergeant stationed in Germany in the 1980s. I was asked to give a presentation by my first sergeant to the soldiers of my battery about Black History Month. Now, if you don't know what a first sergeant is, it's a title. It's the highest ranking sergeant in your company or battery. And usually the official rank is master sergeant. So top, which we would call them, he asks, but when your first sergeant asks you anything, it's really like a soft order, so you don't have really a choice. You got to go do it. So he gave me a few sheets of paper with the accomplishments of about 5 Black people in history. And it's always the same 5 Black people in history. Like there are no other Black people that accomplished anything in the history of America. Okay. So it's like the folks Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, George Washington Carver, Rosa Parks, and who? Martin Luther King Jr. So we know these 5 people. Nobody else did anything. No. So I looked over the notes, and I thought to myself, first, I'm about, at that point in time, 26, 27, and I'm not qualified to teach anyone about Black history due to my inability to remember any of it or even be able to articulate what I've learned so many years ago as a teenager. Second, the notes were brief excerpts of African American accomplishments and said nothing of the historical journey of Africans in America. And it definitely didn't mention the impact of the impact slavery had on our history or our whole nation. And third, there was no explanation for the need of a separate historical narrative of a people that had been in America before the Pilgrims arrived on the Mayflower in 1620. I'm like, okay, but Top said give it. I gave it. Since I couldn't remember all that I had learned over the decade from this book titled Before the Mayflower, A History of the Negro in America, from 1619 to 1962 by Lorene Bennett. If you haven't read that book, everybody, go buy it. It is an eye-opening book. It shook my teenage world. But I couldn't remember it. I used the deficient notes the first sergeant had given me and gave a very uncomfortable spiel to my fellow soldiers, of which 75% were of European American descent, who seemed to have a look that said, how is this information relevant or useful to me? And why are we doing this? To which I gave them a look back as if to say, I know it's relevant, but I don't know how to explain it. It's amazing what all can be conveyed in a look. After the presentation, I went uneasily about my day with a silent but nagging desire. You see, I wish I had remembered what I read in Before the Mayflower. I wish I could have told them of the importance of knowing a true American history that included the history of African Americans and not the segregated, sanitized history we have all been taught. I wish I could have told them what I found out about Black history in that book, which is American history untold. Before the Mayflower was not a part of my high school curricula, but it found its way into my household through a family friend. And it spilled out before me things I was never told in any history class or social studies. It was filled with ancient African kingdoms and city-states of great power and wealth, which up to that point in my young life, I had never heard of, with the exceptions of Egypt or Timbuktu. As a young teenager, I devoured the information in that book because it highlighted not just the accomplishments of African Americans throughout American history, but it laid out the historical journey of the enslaved Africans that was interwoven into each historical period of our country. Imagine that. It told a whole and complete story of our nation from its very beginnings, and solidified that Africans were here, not by choice, but they were here nonetheless. And that chattel slavery was one of the oldest institutions in our country. From the settlement of Jamestown to the forming of the 13 colonies, to the American Revolution, to the Reconstruction period, to the Civil War, to the Jim Crow era of sanctioned apartheid. I believe you get the point. Blacks were here and have always been a part of American history, not just as the enslaved, but as freedom fighters, abolitionists, as soldiers in the American Revolution, the Civil War, and all the wars fought thereafter. They were insurrectionists fighting against brutal and inhumane treatment. They became congressmen and statesmen during the Reconstruction period and helped to enact laws that benefit everyone, such as free schools. Alas, I hadn't remembered the valuable storehouse of information soon enough to tell my fellow soldiers that Black history is American history. And I couldn't answer their unspoken question of relevance and usefulness to them at that time, or even to myself. I didn't tell them how for centuries enslaved Africans had suffered and endured some of the most immoral and horrendous treatment of any people on earth. I didn't tell them that the wealth of our nation was because of the lust of agricultural profit made possible by the free labor of the enslaved. I didn't tell them that so many laws had been passed to make the enslaved African not human, but mere chattel to do with as their enslavers pleased. I didn't tell them that a true telling of our history has for centuries been omitted and even forbidden, as it would tarnish the image of the so-called land of the free and home of the brave. You see, if Black history had always been a part of the American history narrative, then we, as young high school and college students, would have learned while one of the founders, Thomas Jefferson, was drafting the preamble of the Declaration of Independence, which begins so beautifully with the words, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." If our history told the whole truth, we would have learned that he was not a planter, for he planted nothing, but was an enslaver of over 200 humans when he penned those words. Our history books would have highlighted that fact and pointed out that during this period of time, those words were not meant for women. They were not meant for indigenous natives, and definitely not meant for the enslaved Africans. If Black history was interwoven into American history, then we all would have known that as a result of these restrictive and inhumane laws that were passed in the 16th, 17th, and 18th century, we would have known that the enslaved Africans had no autonomy over their own bodies and no free will for centuries, and that the system of policing and violence towards Black served to keep them submissive and from revolting and from running away. And that such policing continues and continued throughout our nation's history, especially during the post-Reconstruction period, and has a direct correlation to the way Blacks are profiled and policed to this very day. We would know that Black Lives Matter is a truth that has been denied utterance for centuries and is still being discredited to this very day. You see, Black history shouldn't be just a recanting of Black accomplishments, which are vastly more than we have been led to believe. No. But it should be how the enslaved Africans' journey and treatment in this country was a part of every period, every war, and how the frenzy for limitless profit from capitalistic agriculture made possible by the free labor of the enslaved also made it necessary to reduce the enslaved to subhuman standard through racially hatred based on skin color, and that existed and continues to exist across all of societal structures and institutions even until this day. Had we learned all this, truly learned about American history in this manner, then perhaps we would have seen the signs that a very unjust history was about to repeat itself again. Therein lies the relevance. Hidden history, history untold, history denied, runs the high and dangerous risk of repeating itself. And our history has and continues to deny the rights of blacks, women of all groups, Hispanics, indigenous Americans, immigrants, members of the LGBTQIA+ community. All are being denied their rights now. History is repeating itself right before our eyes. The news is riddled with an administration that is pulling from the playbooks of the Jim Crow era and Nazi Germany. This is why telling the truth about our history is relevant and essential, no matter how hard it is to face. No matter how hard it is to face, because it is hard. Did you know that Nazis revered the Jim Crow era laws that discriminated against black Americans, which separated blacks from white Americans? Did you know that? They revered it. And they debated whether to introduce similar segregation laws in Germany. The Nazis, however, didn't think that the Jim Crow laws went far enough. And that ended in the mass killing of millions of human beings and World War II. If we were taught world history, we would know that what is happening in our country right now happened in Nazi Germany, where they conducted mass deportations, mass imprisonment, persecution of political opponents. Any of this sound familiar? The repression, denial, and a distortion of historical facts. The demonization of a group of people based on their ethnicity and religious beliefs, vilifying the transgender community. And yes, there was a transgender community and clinic in Germany before the Nazi regime. They vilified all this. And then on top of that, the genocide of millions of Jews, members of the LGBT community, gypsies, the disabled, and any other group that was deemed degenerate and the enemy from within. Does any of this sound familiar? Right now, there is a concerted effort to eradicate the truth about black history. Various states and federal organizations criticize African history studies and the books and have implemented restrictions against these books and other research such as critical race theory and the 1619 Project. Have you heard of the 1619 Project? Have you read the book? If you haven't, see me later and I'll tell you who the author is. That book is amazing. In a recent article that I read from Education Week from the website, it states, since January 2021, 44 states have introduced bills or taken other steps that would restrict teaching critical race theory. Or limit how teachers can discuss racism and sexism. And this was according to an analysis that they did. 18 states are imposing these bans and restrictions either through legislation or other avenues. Last time I got my hair did, it was last week, my hairdresser told me that her daughter's history book described enslaved Africans as indentured servants. Who knows what an indentured servant is? An indentured servant was a European American that entered into a contract, usually back in the 1600s, for servitude, usually for a period of 7 years, and would be freed from said contract on completion of the specified term. Would be freed upon completion of the contract. Now I ask you, what enslaved African in our history ever fit that description? Now, I tell you all of this not to sadden you or to invoke guilt. I'm telling you because history is repeating itself in our country. Our country. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 are under attack, and that there is a laser focus of gutting civil diversity, equity, and inclusion in all of the economic gains we have made since 1964. The Civil Rights Act is not just about protecting the rights of black people. It's a law that protects all people. Read it, Google it. Please educate yourself on these laws, for they were meant to liberate and protect all people. We have a choice to make, for you see, the time for justice is always the present moment. The time to stand up for our unalienable rights. And what does unalienable mean? Right? It means that these rights are not transferable, are not capable of being taken away or denied. So yes, it's time to stand up for our undeniable rights to life, liberty, diversity, justice, equality, equity, inclusion, and the pursuit of happiness. And we are the ones that can take the words of the founders of this nation and breathe the breath of life and truth into them. Yes? As we enter the dawn of a new era, a new period in our American history, we no longer have the luxury or the time to wait and see who will take the lead for justice, for equality. I mean, for what's morally right. The appointed time is now, and we are all the change agents. The reason why we are told to stand on the shoulders of those that have gone before us is so that we can see a little further, so we can reach a little higher, that we are not deterred by fear or the atrocities that the dark past has taught us or what the present moment is showing us, but so that we can see a way forward, all of us. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke to us about character and strength. And he said the ultimate measure of a man, a human being, is not where he stands in moments of convenience and comfort, but where they stand at times of challenge and controversy. Now is not the time to acquiesce in the face of injustice. We can't be silent to oppression. Now is the time for us to stand together in these challenging times for life, for true liberty, justice, freedom. Let us stand for diversity, equity, and inclusion for all. And let us stay woke. Let us stay wide awake to the injustices that are upon us and this nation, and upon all who are marginalized. You might ask, why are you telling me this? What importance does it have from a spiritual perspective? Ernest Holmes tells us in the Declaration of Principles, we believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be obtained by all. And we have to remember also that Holmes told us the thing, being spirit, then works for us by working through us and is us always. It cannot work for us in any other way. When you live in close contact with the indwelling spirit, it will work through you to do the work of love, justice, peace, loving kindness, and all the divine, wonderful attributes that bring about goodness for all of humanity. But it has to work through us, through our hands, through our voices, through our actions. This is why, spiritually, this is relevant. That's why we must know the truth about our collective history, because then we know what needs to be done. We need to shore up our spiritual practices now more than ever before. We need community now more than ever before. We need to join to those that stand for justice and determine what it is ours to do, and then do it. And so it is. Oh, I need this. Will the practitioners please come forward? I just want to say, we are a community of many shades, many colors, but we are one. No matter what our history has shown us, no matter what has happened in our history, we need to learn from it and move forward. So join me now by going within and know this truth with me. That truly that there is only one power in this universe, and that is the divine spirit I am. And that I am moves through each and every one of us. It is our life. It is our very breath. It is our life force. And so regardless of what the appearances of things are happening right here and right now, we know that spirit is our substance and our strength in all things, and it gives us the power. It guides us. And yea, though we may walk through a very dark valley right now, and it might seem deadly, we will fear no evil, for we know spirit is always with us. We know this. We align ourselves with this truth. We align ourselves with this community, for it is beloved, and so is everyone here and within the sound of my voice. And for that I am grateful. And so it is.
Please stand as we sing together. Lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has taught us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. While the weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. We love you so much. See you downstairs and join us for our 5 o'clock workshops.